Hi, I'm Jennifer from the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, back with another library kitchen video. In my last library kitchen video, I showed you how we could make herb salts and herb sugars very simply by using a coffee or spice grinder, your salt or your sugar, and some dried herbs. Today, I'll show you how to use that same technique to make some naturally colored decorating sugars, like this lovely yellow that I've made from dandelions or purple from violets. Now, the technique is the same, but there are two key differences. The first is that we're using fresh materials instead of dried because the fresh ones are going to give you that color that you need for the sugars. And the other key difference is we're using edible flowers instead of herbs. Now, these are things that we know are definitely items you can eat, like roses, dandelions, and violets. But we want to make sure that when we gather them, they're from an area that hasn't been sprayed, preferably your garden or your backyard. And you definitely don't want to get them from the roadside where they might absorb more of the environmental toxins that would not be very fun to eat. So we're going to start with, I've got a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar here in my grinder. And I have some unsprayed rose petals from my best friend's garden. And this is, equivalent to about 4 small roses. What I'll do with them then is go ahead and run the grinder so that everything gets mixed together. And I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. Now that I've run the roses and the sugar together in the grinder, you can see I've got this really dark pink, beautiful sugar. So I'm going to spread this out on a parchment covered cookie sheet because we need to dry this. There's an awful lot of moisture in this sugar. And for one thing, it's clumping together, so that's not very helpful. But for another thing, that extra moisture is not going to be good for preserving it. I mean, we could just keep it in the refrigerator and use it up very quickly, or keep it in the freezer, and that would be fine. But I would like to be able to use it and have it be a little finer, a little easier to work with. So see, if I pick this up and sprinkle it, it's just going to be in clumps. It's not going to be very neat and tidy when I want to decorate with it. So what I'm going to do is turn on the oven at the lowest setting, which I think on my oven is about 200 degrees, and pop this in, prop it open, and just let it go for a couple of hours and dry it out. After that, I'll be able to grind it again and get it to the point where it's much drier and finer, like this dandelion sugar. So I'll do that, and we'll be back to finish it up and play with it a little bit, okay? So now that I've dried the sugar in the oven, you can see after it's been ground again, it's a little bit lighter, and that's okay. That's just going to be fine for adding to a frosted cupcake. So I'm just going to spoon a little bit up. Just kind of shake it around. Add a little bit of color. And it should add just a touch of rose flavor to it as well. I think that's going to be a nice little treat for someone, don't you think? We'll decorate it with a little bit of rose petals, and maybe just add one here to the top. If it'll stay up. There we go. So now I've got a really pretty colored sugar for decorating, and what I will do is spoon this back into a jar. And I'm going to keep this in the refrigerator. Like I said, it's already dried, so I'd probably be okay having it just in the cupboard, but I want to make sure. And maybe if I've got all of the decorating sugars in there all together, then they'll make me think I need to decorate something else. So that's all there is to creating a naturally colored decorating sugar. And as you can see, I've got plenty for the next project for baking in my kitchen. I hope you give this a try at home, and we will see you next time on the Library Kitchen. Take care.